O'Neill, 2 L's. I serve the SGC under a General Hammond.
We're explorers. You see, we're from another planet.
The unstable vortex of a forming wormhole. Kawoosh.
Indeed.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Kawoosh podcast. I am your host Arne and I'm joined as always by my lovely host.
Ah, he calls me lovely.
Yeah, Evie. She's here as well. And today we're talking about a Teal'c-centric episode. This one has the title Family. And I double checked, this is not one of the ones where Christopher Judge worked on. That's from season 4, he did write or worked on the story of a few of his Teal'c-centric episodes, but this was not one of them.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah. Let's just jump into the episode. We open up in the SGC and the Stargate is activated. The iris is closed with an unscheduled gate opening, but they do receive an iris code and it is SG1. At that point, SG1 enters the control room. So they discuss who could it be, and they say the only other person to have one is Ry'ac, and sure enough, when they open the iris, he comes through, and he even asks Hammond for leave to enter the base. And then as SG1 goes in to greet him, he tells Teal'c that he has sad news because his son has been taken by Apophis.
And then we get a slow, menacing zoom in on Christopher's face, and he looks very upset.
And we go right into the opening credits. And after that, we are in the briefing room, where Hammond, of course, mentions that, didn't we blow up Apophis? But no one knows for sure, and Daniel theorizes he might have used the rings to escape. So this was something we saw. We saw some kind of light moving away from the ships in the opening episode. So that was this, apparently. They don't go into it any further. They also wonder why would they kidnap Teal'c's son, but they say that he doesn't want Ry'ac, he wants the Sholva Teal'c, so it's obviously a trap.
And Sholva means traitor.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold words in this episode that they're yelling. I'm not sure of the translation of all of them, but
Yeah, because every time Teal'c sees Ry'ac for the first time, he says Tekmate Ry'ac, and I think it's a sort of honorable greeting.
Yeah, formal greeting.
But do we ever get a translation for that? There was
Not
things I
sure.
should look up stuff on the wiki more.
It's probably on there, yeah. Like
Yeah.
patak is a word there you're throwing around in this one or something.
Patak?
Nee,
That's coward in Klingon. You're mixing up your
mixing up my fandoms.
you're mixing up your
It's
fandoms.
close to it anyway, and it's a curse kind of word, like a slang word. Anyway, it's a bit chaotic on Teal'c because Apophis is back, but he hasn't secured his power yet. Nevertheless, they are all convinced that this is an obvious trap, and Hammond tells Teal'c, and this was a bit out of character for him, that he warned them that his family would be his weakness, and he wants this to be the last time that it can be exploited. But they do get a reason to go.
I didn't catch that vibe. I understood it to be like, your family is a liability. Let's make this the last time. Bring them here. Bring them to Earth. That's the vibe I got from him. Like, okay, Teal'c, we knew this could happen. Let's make this the last time. You bring him here. You get them out. That was how I interpreted it.
Oh, yeah. It's like, it's only a couple of sentences.
Yeah.
He didn't have his usual fatherly intonation. It sounded a little harsh for me. It was like,
Oh, okay.
but maybe I'm just projecting.
Well, maybe I was focusing too hard on the fact that Christopher Judge is out of focus in this entire scene. How do you get Christopher Judge out of focus? The man is a statue.
True.
How? It's not because there are these kinds of actors that when they go like this all the time, or the second you
Or
yell,
they just have a face that
they
is
have
soft.
a face that is soft. There's people with faces that just always feel off, but Christopher Judge is not one of those people, and I don't think he's one of those people that the second you yell action, they go like this. Because you also have actors that go like this.
No.
It was very like normally he's in a. It just annoyed me. Like the focus was not. It was on his ears.
Could have been a focus puller.
Well, probably, but back then, of course, they didn't have these huge monitors on set either. Like you only saw it at the dailies.
This was still shot on film.
Yeah,
this was 16 millimeter.
Which means that, like, if
you could only see it in the dailies.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
and
have
it was
to.
Too late by then.
Yeah, you have to measure it and then.
So they get the go-ahead from Hammond and they arrive on Teal'c where the gate is guarded, but they throw some gas canisters through and the guards all fall down before SG-1 even steps through. They immediately go into town, which is a lot bigger than the last time we saw it, and they remark that Teal'c's wife apparently lives in a big house in the center of town nowadays, and it is unclear how she could afford such a home. But when they go in, they not only find her, they also find the reason why she lives in this big home. She annulled the marriage with Teal'c because he was away for years, and she is now with Ry'ac. Ry'ac of the High Cliffs, as he introduces himself.
It was so embarrassing to watch because Ry'ac comes down the stairs and he's all like, Teal'c, old friend, and everybody immediately clocks like, oh, she remarried, and Teal'c just doesn't get it. He's like, good friend of mine, you're taking care of my wife for me, how nice. And I was just sitting there like, Teal'c, no, Teal'c, no. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. But also, maybe not explain it to Teal'c while his buddies are standing there. Like maybe
it was very awkward.
It was very awkward. And the friend also was like, "Hi, Teal'c, so happy to see you." That's not. I would have like, "Hey, buddy, I kind of have to tell you something." Like, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, they just drop it on him, and of course he reacts very angrily, and they grapple. Jack has to come in between to get them apart.
I just had a lot of questions with this scene. Because it's a very cookie cutter character. Like, there's not a lot of depth.
Yeah, don't get attached. He's not in this a lot.
But they also don't explain a whole lot. Like, because Ry'ac at one point is, I trained them both when they were kids. Okay, cool. But then why is his thingy silver? Because his symbol is silver?
Maybe it was second in command. You have the gold one.
Yeah.
He's the prime.
Yeah.
Then probably silver would be the second in command, and then the normal Jaffa just have ink. Okay,
so like once you become like prime, they can put it on your head, but do they have to repaint it or something? Like what happens
don't
there?
know.
Like,
it's one of the few times we see a silver one.
Exactly, that's why
they were probably playing around with the lore a little bit, but never.
Yeah, but then give us the lore. This one felt very much like a telenovela. And there's nothing wrong with telenovelas, but it just felt like a huge sidestep into... I gotta admit, I didn't really like this one.
I'm gonna say... I was gonna save this for the end, but I think this should have been a two-parter. Because there's a lot to explain here, and there's a lot of things you can do with all these characters, and the fact that she remarried, and as we saw her last time, she was living in a tent camp and stuff like that. So you can go into this and then do the second part, which we will get to later on, and put that complete thing in another episode and deal with it.
I totally understood her motives. I mean, I totally understood where she was coming from. I didn't understand the guy, the way he was acting towards Teal'c. Like, I would have been, like, just a little bit more awkward when I remarried your wife. I don't know. And also, you have this whole team that they could have left at home because Sam has nothing to do with this entire episode.
Yeah.
Daniel has nothing to do with this entire episode.
Sam gets paired off with the wife just because they're women. You put them together, right?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, because
Daniel
normally...
at least has a couple of sentences.
Yeah. Normally it's Daniel who gets paired off with the women.
Exactly.
Also, they recast his wife.
Yeah, they recast the wife. But she does come back 2 more times at least. So maybe it was an availability thing, and then they just kept the latest one, to put it bluntly. I'm not sure, and I didn't look it up. But I did look up that because I was like, is this the same actress? So I went on IMDb, and so I was like, nope, it's not.
All right, but picking back up where we left, somewhere between Teal'c no, Dang and Teal'c chill. Where are you with your notes? He was not chill.
Yeah, Ry'ac swears that he didn't know about it, which I think is like,
I call bullshit.
yeah, exactly. Like, Ry'ac, really? Really?
Unless Ry'ac is one of those people who's just blind to social.
He is
Like-
very focused on the cause, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, so Jack, of course, immediately wants to know if Ry'ac can be trusted. And then we get the explanation. He used to be a close confidant of Teal'c, and they were both students of Ry'ac. And Ry'ac says he may be trusted. Because Ry'ac also believes that the Goa'uld are false gods, at least according to Ry'ac. Daniel is trying
Not helping.
Not helping. He tries to be the voice of reason, but he puts it in entirely the wrong way.
He has no bedside manner.
He basically tells him his wife is better off now because she's not living in a tent camp
Yeah,
anymore.
but she's saying it in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, exactly.
He's-
You're right, but put it in another way.
Yeah, just don't say it like
word
that.
it differently.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Also, start with Teal'c, I feel bad for you. Like, that's a good start.
Yeah, he just blurts it out.
Yeah,
and
he's like, Teal'c, what did you expect?
he
Like,
just
Daniel.
grappled his best friend. You're gonna be hit in the nose.
Yes!
Yeah. Jack is the only one who actually gets him to calm down by pointing out maybe you should focus on your boy. Ry'ac also makes a point of it that he wants to make sure that Teal'c doesn't kill Ry'ac out of revenge, because there's, of course, some kind of ritual. It's bluntly said he was being a cuckold husband or something, and he had the right to
I didn't
kill
understand
him.
that joke.
Yeah. It was a dumb thing, but of course they have a ritual for when somebody steals your wife, because of course.
Well, he didn't steal her. Okay, I'm just gonna be sorry, Teal'c, but abandonment is a reasonable cause for disbandment of your marriage.
And that's why I'm saying this. This should
Yeah.
have been a complete episode, because she was obviously right in trying to make sure that she and her boy were taken care of.
Yeah, she was living, like, in squalor because he left her.
Yeah, he just left. He
Yeah.
never said goodbye, never told her where he was going to go. That all came afterward.
Yeah,
And
and then
even
he
then,
just
he just
left her
left.
again.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sure it's fine now. Bye. Like, didn't even send her anything. Didn't check in. Like,
He only checks in when his boy's in trouble, actually.
Yeah.
So far.
which they could have explored that more, because they choose to show that Teal'c still has feelings for his wife, but in no way or shape or form in the lead up to that do I feel that, because he's always angry with her. He's always like, be quiet, woman. And then suddenly we have this huge shift. And I'm like, wait, what? Where does this come from?
I can't believe that there's, because he's a Jaffa and they're very strong in their traditions, that he has a certain idea of the function and position of a wife. This is
But
all
that-
stuff you can play out.
But that doesn't track with how he treats Sam.
That is a very good
From
point.
first point, he never makes a problem of her being a warrior, being a
But
scientist.
he does do
being-
this to his wife.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't track for me with Teal'c.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Something in that relationship doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe they could have solved it with more time or not. Because I totally understand her, but I don't understand where Teal'c is coming from.
It's like every time we go back to his family, he turns into somebody else. A more
Yeah.
traditional person. And I think it is purely the writing.
Yeah, and I think Teal'c,
Because
as a
it's,
character, deserved better than
yeah,
that.
it's very easy to use this shorthand of a
Yeah.
traditional marriage, while it would actually make more sense that if it wasn't the case, because if he is first prime to Apophis, he's gonna be away a lot, so it's not a very traditional marriage in that sense.
And also, if he is also, he didn't rebel out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's gonna live at home as well.
So
Like-
it's clear that they're actually only putting the wife in there because of the relationship with the son.
Yeah,
That's the idea I'm getting now. If I'm watching this, they're actually more interested in the son, and the wife's a little bit in the way.
yeah, but they do wait. Well, it's not a waste of time, but they do make a lot of emphasis on why she did what she did and how he has to come to terms with that.
Yeah, but they should have put more time into that, because it is an interesting fact. You could do more than the traditional soap opera stuff with this.
Yeah, but again, nothing against traditional soap opera. She had a lot of valid points, and then all he does is snap and say, "Be quiet, woman." And like at
think-
the third time, I'm like,
I think
dude.
we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. Let's just move on.
Yeah. Yeah, he does get very mad at her, and he says that he will bring back his son and will never lay eyes on her again. Then we
Which
get,
is just the same what you did last time,
Yeah.
Teal'c. I mean, you're threatening to just leave again.
but she does do a positive thing, because I thought, oh, is this where it ends? But no, she follows him outside and just confronts him, tells him, "You abandoned me," and there was only one person even willing to take her out of the slums, and that was Ry'ac. So
I really like that she said that, because it's like, why did you marry him? And she just bluntly goes, he was the only one that asked, Teal'c. Like, that was my only ticket out of there. Like, grow up.
yeah, and then she says she has no love for him, but at least her son doesn't live in the camps anymore. So yeah, it's a very short scene, but she makes the most of what she's given
Yeah.
here. She is really good, and also Christopher Judge also, because at least now we can react to a situation instead of being the angry husband. Okay, so we cut to the plan to get Ry'ac. Ry'ac fills them in, because apparently he works in the palace where Ry'ac is being held, and he even made a map. And then Jack says we'll go as soon as it's dark. And then we cut to a very low-res matte painting of a palace.
But at that point, because back home, they made a very obvious point to say, oh, we know it's a trap. But knowing it's a trap, we're gonna subvert the trap. And then this guy lays out a map, and he's like, it's a very easy thing, because here, the door inside to the cells is it's right next door. Like, this is very inconspicuous. This is very weird. Like, obviously this is a trap, but nobody goes, hey, maybe this is a trap. Like, did you all just forget it was gonna be a trap?
Again, I'm coming back to this should have been 2 episodes, because they just rush through this and you go like, oh, this sounds like a trap, but that's not a trap. The trap is something else. So it's
But they never even go in there thinking it's a trap anymore.
no, they just
Are you gonna put Akbar over here? We need Akbar.
No.
Oh, come on. It's a trap.
Anyway, Ry'ac distracts the guards, and then the team shoots them. And then they blow the locks, and Ry'ac is just sitting in the other room on his bed and immediately yells for the guards, runs away, and calls out that the Sholva is there. And guards appear, Ry'ac runs away, and the team makes their retreat.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Shooting did not warn the guards. Blowing stuff up did not warn the guards. A 9-year-old boy shouting did warn the guards.
And they know that it's a trap.
I have questions.
Yeah. So they get back to the townhouse, and Ry'ac is waiting for them. They explain what happened and that their kid has been brainwashed, and Teal'c feels shame.
What I mean about the brainwashing. I like the concept of them brainwashing the kids. It's a very well-known tactic in war and stuff. What I question is, I don't see Apophis as having the patience to brainwash a kid.
I was wondering how long he'd been captured.
That, because it takes a while. Because
Exactly.
you can totally brainwash a kid, but either it takes a long time and psychological games, or they could have explained that it was something that they did with the sarcophagus or some other means, which would have made the solution later more plausible for me. But,
Yeah, I was very confused, because I had the feeling Ry'ac would have come immediately after it happened.
Right.
So this was what? 1 day, 2 days?
Max.
That was the feeling I had, and
Yeah.
this whole thing seemed so rushed, and I had a hard time believing that
Yeah,
this
exactly.
happened in this short of a
You
time
can't
span.
brainwash someone in 2 days, which means they probably did it, well, in my eyes at least, they did it through some technology
Yeah.
way, but they never explore that or anything.
Again, should have been 2 episodes. So, at that point, the floating ball, apparently they have a floating ball in the house, the same one we saw in last season's finale, and this is the only time we will see Apophis, because he appears in the floating ball and tells the people of Teal'c that he brings the truth. And then Ry'ac appears beside him, saying that his father is a traitor, and they place a bounty on Teal'c's head, And he says that there are foreigners holding his mother, and then he names her, but he names her wrongly.
Yep.
So it's Ry'ac of the... and then
Morning
he's-
Shenka Groves.
Oh, you wrote it down?
He calls her of the Morning Shenka Groves, but she is from the Kordite Plains.
Yeah. So immediately Teal'c thinks that, oh, he's still in there. He's trying to get a secret message out. And that this is a meeting location.
Can I just pause and say that this house does not feel like a house you live in? It is the most impractical house ever. Like, it looks like a museum set. Like how they stall out things like, this is how they live. Like, nobody lives like that. And even some of the furniture there was a closet thing standing slanted in the corner. Like, stuff like that annoys the crap out of me. Like, this house was not for living in.
A moment later, Jaffa come banging on the door because they wish to search the house. And Frotak tells them, these guys kidnapped my wife. It is unlogical for you to go look into the house of the victim. But they say it's on orders of Apophis, so they're going to search anyway. But they don't find them because there's a secret compartment in a wall where Ry'ac hides them all.
I was so annoyed with this scene because, first of all, somebody knocks at the door. Nobody panics. Nobody. They just all turn to the door and like, oh, I wonder who that could be. Like, you're
wanted,
rebels,
yeah.
wanted rebels hiding in a house. And then he walks to the door. And
They hide.
But they say, literally, hurry and quickly. Like, outside the guards say, hurry, but they don't hurry in searching. And then inside the wife says, quickly, hide. And nobody rushes. There's no rush. Also, the guards come in and they check exactly one room in this supposed house.
In
They
this
just look
supposedly
around
big house.
in this supposedly huge house. They only check one room and they don't even check it thoroughly. Like, they just look. Nobody
Yeah,
lifts
nobody
even up
there.
a pillow or anything. I really do feel like they weren't allowed to touch anything in there.
Maybe.
And they're like, oh, we searched it, let's go. Like, you didn't need this elaborate room inside the wall. You could have just hidden them upstairs under your bed and they would never have found them. Like, these guards obviously were phoning it in.
And then after work, Teal'c apologizes to Frotak because he can be trusted. That night, Ry'ac approaches Teal'c because she can't sleep either, and at least not until their son is safe. And of course, they kiss. There's another guy who's awake, and it's Frotak.
Well,
And he
I mean,
sees it.
that's because there's no beds in this place. I don't
And then
think anyone...
Frotak leaves, and he is seen by Jack. So nobody's sleeping in this house.
I can just imagine Daniel lying off in the corner with a teddy bear, like, just, like, what did I miss? Like, but seriously, first of all, Teal'c, don't kiss her. Woman, you're married, like, don't kiss him.
It's
And you
such
could
a
have,
clunky scene.
you could have, it is very clunky, because it could have worked if it if it spilled over from grief, like these are two parents grieving their kid, and then you can make it a comforting moment that goes wrong. But this is very clearly like, and now they kiss. Like, these aren't two Barbie dolls you just mushed together. Like, it was clunky. And then also, of course, Frotak immediately goes like,
to-
bah, 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 bah.
He runs to the palace, and this was so funny. He comes into the hallway, goes to the first guard he sees, and tells them, they're at my house!
And then Jack, who followed
Yeah.
him, shoots them both. And he just kills him.
Yeah, he shoots him with the Zat. He tries to subdue him, but he's mad because his wife got kissed. So Jack zats him again, which kills him. And then he goes like, well, better destroy the evidence, and shoots him again.
And I'm like, Jack, you are a trained veteran. You can shut him up in multiple ways. You clearly just wanted to get rid of this actor.
And this barely gets any follow-up.
It gets no follow-up. Like, Jack like, what?
He just straight up murders him.
I do like how you said my wife got kissed. Like, she did kissing too. Like, but I think just Frotak was very two-dimensional.
Yeah, he was there to fulfill a function.
Yeah, and that's never good. But Jack, really, I don't like it when they just kill in the script. I know they're in the army, but even then, like...
But was he in the army? He worked at the palace.
No, I mean Jack.
Oh, Jack, yeah.
He could have knocked him out and just dragged him in a corner or somewhere.
I think that was the idea, because he tries to talk him down, but in the
you're
end he
not
just...
you can take the Nickel and hit somebody in the head with it.
Exactly.
Like-
because he knows that the second shot will kill, and
Yeah.
he didn't hesitate to shoot the
No.
second time. So
That was weird. That was
It was a weird
It was
moment.
out of character.
yeah,
Like for me, Teal'c this episode is out of character. Jack is out of character, and Daniel and Sam don't have enough lines to be in character.
anyway.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're completely right. So this whole kerfuffle does not get any attention,
I love that word.
but the dead guards are what alarms the other ones that something happened.
Yeah, but they are the worst searchers because Jack
Yeah.
just steps into a room and closes the door, and they don't find him.
And then the next morning, a serpent guard knocks on the door and just steps inside, and of course, it's Jack.
And Ry'ac threatens him with his Nickel, and it is out of character for Ry'ac not to shoot immediately. Like, it was very much a, oh, we want Jack in this costume. Isn't this neat? Ta-da! I mean, this...
He does make a good joke about it's very uncomfortable, so he goes like, oh, no wonder they're all so cranky all the time, or something like that. So, yeah, it does... They do have the little Jack moment there.
Yeah, but I don't think that was written.
No,
I think that was that
Might
was
have
just
been an
Richard
ad-lib,
Dean
you never
Anderson being like, this is a boring scenario, let me just liven it up.
Daniel wants to know where he's been. Ry'ac wants to know where Ry'ac is. So Jack tells them what happens. And then Ry'ac blames herself because she made vows she could not keep.
Which is a very strong line if we'd had the build up to
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
Also, why is Daniel like, where have you been? Like, nobody followed him. Nobody looked for him.
Yeah, but-
Nobody was sleeping in
but
that
where
house.
would he have been? Like,
Like-
there's not that many options.
Yeah, but there was no panic. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Jack, where you've been? Like, what?
But you are right, because when she said earlier that she has absolutely no love for Ry'ac, so this moment here does not land, because we already know she doesn't love him, and so
Yeah,
the
but
moment
you
about
can,
the vows could have been a lot stronger.
I mean, well, she still married him. She still made vows. I
Yeah,
mean,
it works, but it could have been more. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You just need more time. Anyway, Teal'c, of course, goes over to comfort her. Then we
Yeah,
cut-
because from now on, they're just a happy family again.
yeah,
Which is...
Ry'ac is just gone.
Yeah.
In the woods, Ry'ac arrives accompanied by Jaffa warriors, and the others have laid an ambush, and they manage to shoot all the guards.
Including an Asian Jaffa.
Yeah,
I made a note of this because we very rarely see,
we do get we do get more. Like we have Yu, who is a system lord, based on Chinese culture, and we will have more Asian actors, like in Delusionalizer. So yeah, we do get more broad. Anyway,
I just think this was the first one I saw, which is why I wrote it down. And then they killed him!
yeah, and Ry'ac runs to his father, tells him he never meant to betray him. Jack asks Carter to check, because she now can check my mere touch.
And I just really love how she pats him down. He's like, "Tuk, tuk, 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 tuk." He's clear. Like, whoa!
Very weird moment. Like
I think she wanted to pat him down without giving away that all she had to do was just touch him to know.
maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, she says he's clean. Jack still doesn't trust it, not after the Cassandra, because he thinks maybe we are bringing back a bomb. But Teal'c is sure that his son is strong. So they all go to the gate, and there's almost no guards there. Sam, I think, was the one who remarked that, isn't this going a little bit too easy?
Yeah.
And then they get to the gate, and again, almost no guards.
And they have these handy rocks for sneaking
Yeah.
up against. Like, why would you put rocks around your gate, which are very easy to use
hide
as
behind, yeah.
sneaky thingies? Like,
At this point, Ry'ac also arrives.
and they go through the gate.
No, there's a
No?
moment where Jack sits down with Ry'ac and asks him, like, very directly, what's going on? What's your plan? And why did you run away the first time when we were there to get you?
Are you mixing up names?
No. And Teal'c wants to know why Jack just can't believe that his son is strong.
Because your son has never been strong, Teal'c. You
Yeah.
keep saying it, but saying it doesn't make it true. He wasn't strong when he got sick. He wasn't strong when he got brainwashed. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's 9 years old. But your expectations are not realistic.
Jack takes Teal'c aside and he tries to convince him like something is up, something doesn't track, but they don't really have any choice. They can't exactly leave the boy. So they, at that point, rush the gate and take out the 2 guards and dial Earth. Ry'ac and Carter go first, and then Ry'ac says he will stay and the rest leave. And then on Earth, Teal'c hugs his family. And then Dr. Fraser checks the boy out and thinks he's all fine because of course she doesn't really know what is normal for a Jaffa his age. But Ry'ac is the one who notices something and Teal'c sees it, so he takes her aside and she tells him that Ry'ac lost 2 teeth training with Ry'ac. They are no longer missing. So the doctor tells Ry'ac that she's gonna draw some blood, but he becomes very violent and angry and starts shouting, and then she sedates him.
Can I just say that Dr. Fraser's track record in finding foreign things entering the base is also not great. And I know this is plot related. Like if you have a really great doctor, then, you know, your plots would sizzle out before they can get there. But she misses a lot.
Yeah, she does. When Ry'ac wakes up, he is in a bedroom and his mother is with him, and he says that he hates her and he tries to bite his teeth, but nothing is happening. So we cut to the briefing room where the doctor explains to Hammond that he apparently had a bioweapon in hollowed out teeth, some kind of bacteria. That's why he wanted to go outside to spread the organism. And they scanned him and x-rayed him, and now they're sure that there's nothing else.
Yeah, but she was sure before, so you know.
Yeah. Next up is deprogramming the boy.
That, you know, can we just pause and say that that boy is not a bad actor? Because
No,
there's
fair.
a lot of switching going on, and there's more truth to his acting when he's angry than when he is being pleasant and faking it. Like this is a young kid, and he's really nailing it.
Yeah, but I think he was good the last time as well. And he will be coming back, I believe. He's a good actor, yeah. So yeah, they're talking about how to deprogram the boy, and Jack mentions this is not something he wants to put a child through. So Teal'c goes into the room to talk to his son. He tells him Apophis is a liar, that Ry'ac would have died, but he says that Teal'c is the liar because he said he would return, but he never did.
Yeah, you said you'd come back. You lie. You said you'd come back. That was a really strong line, because that is the entire reason why the brainwashing worked. Because, you know, the kid felt betrayed.
And Christopher Judge really has a really strong reaction to this. He's so good in these scenes because he starts to realize that it's not going to work.
Yeah, but the bond between Teal'c and his son, I believe in that. It's him and the wife that just feels clunky to me.
There's some time that goes by as Teal'c tries to connect with him. They go through memories of the good days. He reminds him of the love he has for his son. And then we think that there is a reaction, but Ry'ac just turns around and spits Teal'c in his face. Then he exits the room, and in the hallway all the others are waiting for him. And Teal'c asks if there is another way. And then Jack and Carter mention electroshock therapy.
Which, I mean, it was the 90s. Shock therapy was well behind us, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
I am not sure.
What?
I'm not sure. You would think so, but we're also talking about America.
Yeah, but true. Gosh darn it. No, I'm just wondering if we would have explored that there's no way Apophis could have brainwashed the kid in 2 days without using something technical. Maybe we can disrupt that with electroshocks. I would have been more inclined to believe this. But like, the deprogramming isn't working. Let's shock the kid and see what happens. Like,
yeah, but at least Daniel has the appropriate reaction. He's just appalled, like, you're gonna do what?
yeah.
And then the doctor is scared.
You know, it's always a bad thing when I have to agree with Daniel. Like, don't make me do that.
And then the doctor says, like, we're not sure it might kill the Goa'uld larva, and if the Goa'uld larva dies, he will die. Then Teal'c asks if the shock is comparable to the discharge of a Z gun.
Zaknigatel.
Yeah, which they say, yeah, it kind of is. And he says he will survive it. And then Ry'ac tells Teal'c that she trusts his judgment.
Why? Why, woman?
Yeah.
He left you in squalor. He didn't check up. He didn't send any notes. Didn't send any Christmas.
And he just now blankets the whole treatment of their son, like,
which could have worked if, like, because
Yeah.
she trusts him to make the right call concerning their son. It could have worked, but to me it was like, yeah, no.
So yeah, they both go into the room. He still doesn't want to talk, and he's lying on the bed. And then Teal'c just straight up shoots him with the Zaknigatel gun. Then Ry'ac goes in to check on him. He's barely breathing, and they sit around him, and Teal'c and Ry'ac both begin to sing an ancient song that they used to sing to him before bed. And then they kind of lose track of the text, and Ry'ac starts singing the rest of it. He then wakes up and asks where he is, and if Teal'c has finally returned home. So yes, apparently it worked. And then we just cut to the gate room where they are saying goodbye to Ry'ac and Ry'ac. Earth would have been a prison for them, so they looked for a better planet for them to go live on, and then Teal'c will take them there.
Why, though? It's not a prison for Cassandra. Why would it be a prison for them?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I
Maybe because Teal'c lives on the base and they would stay there with him, but it's just this scene is so
It's like
rushed.
we want Teal'c to have a family, but we also don't want Teal'c to have a family. So we're gonna relocate you to another planet,
So
and we
it-
won't see you
yeah.
until season 4.
Until something happens.
Until
basically.
something
Yeah.
happens. And also, you just had the boys say, "Wherever my father is, I am home." I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Bye now. Like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
And then they walk through the gate, it fades to black, and we're done.
Yeah.
So it's a very good idea. Like, the whole story itself could have worked, but it's so rushed. The whole Earth deprogramming should have been one episode. You could have milked that for sure.
Or you could have just left it unresolved, send them to the other planet, and they would have kept working on it out of
Yeah.
thingy. And then it could have fueled Teal'c even more in his anger towards Apophis. Like, it felt very rushed in being resolved.
Yeah. Same.
And I feel like Sam and Daniel could have just taken the day off. Like,
They are barely in this episode. No, but it is a good thing that Christopher Judge finally has an episode where
Yeah,
he can
I'm not-
stretch his acting muscles,
I'm
because
not-
he's
yeah.
solid in this. He's very good. Most of them are.
I'm just, like, I know that if you have a team, all of them always have to be in every episode, but that is one thing of that kind of series format that I really don't miss, because if you don't need them in the scene, just leave them home.
So, very rushed. Good idea, bad execution.
Yeah, I feel bad for Teal'c, because I really like his character, but I just, yeah, this didn't hit for me. But as you said, some really good ideas.
And good actors, they're trying.
Yeah,
it's
and-
clearly the writing that is rushed. They should have put more time and effort in this, and maybe stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, because this time, like, again, Teal'c is angry. Why is my son... In the first time, it was, why is my son sick? Why is he living here? Like, because you left us, you doofus. And now it's like, why did you remarry? Again, because you left us, you doofus. Which can work. But then he doesn't really learn anything because he sends them away again. Which, to me, is like, this is... Yeah.
It's also just very forced
Yeah.
in the writing. Like, we don't want them on Earth because then we have to write for them or keep track of it. And if we send them to another planet, then we can check in on them when we have another idea.
Yeah, but that's not parenting. I mean...
Exactly.
And it could have worked. Like, I don't know.
It's just they don't want to deal with it as writers. That's the feeling I'm getting. They only want to deal with it when they have a good idea.
Yeah.
But if you introduce this family, which was a good idea, then you have to tackle it. You have to go into it and you have to put time in it.
Yeah.
And checking in one episode is not enough. And this was also something you had with episodic television. It needed to fit into one 40-minute episode. And sometimes you could do a two-parter if you had a big thing.
But even then, like, we have a Destroyer of Worlds out there. That was unresolved. Why couldn't this be unresolved?
Yeah. But this would have been something you would need to get back to. Like the Destroyer of Worlds, if you didn't go back to her, it wouldn't have mattered. But this is Teal'c's family, so you need to resolve this at some point. So it's easier to put it in one episode, because if you don't want to go back to them, then it's done. And next time you do something else with them. It's just practical writing in its most shortcutish. I don't know.
That's not. I don't think that's how you say it.
So yeah, it was a
Clunky.
not the best. There's some good stuff in there, but most of it is not very good. It's too rushed mostly.
So what's the next episode?
Oh, I forgot to look it up.
You
I
always
have no
forget to
idea.
look it up.
No, last time I didn't forget to look it up.
Okay, you looked it up
IMDb.
once.
Yes, once. The next one is Secrets.
That doesn't really say a lot.
No, it doesn't say a lot. But if I read the summary, it does deal with Jackson and Teal'c going back to Abydos to see Share's father. Oh, that's cool. I was wondering when that one would come back. They actually got the actor that played Share's father in the movie to play him again in the series, which is cool. So yeah.
So is that a callback? Like, at all the way in the beginning, in the first few episodes of the series, Daniel says, "I will be back in 1 year time." Has it been a year?
Could be, because it does say that they unburied the gate. So
Yeah.
and he did order them to bury the gate for a year.
And then buried it.
So yeah, they're picking up on that thread.
I get the idea, but that's a lot of work you're putting on somebody else. Like,
So yeah, I am looking forward to that one. I'm very curious. I don't really know what it is, what happens in it. So
I do vaguely remember her dad, being angry at Daniel.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's been a year.
of
What have you been
course.
doing? Like,
Of
where's my
course.
kid?
So yeah, that's for next week's episode. So looking forward to that. And you can follow us on all of our socials. They will appear in the video, and they will be down in the description for you to read if you were so inclined to follow us. Okay, that is it for today, and you can listen or view us next week when we talk about secrets.
Sorry.
Bye.